on Saturday, November 9th.
Listen to this crowd!
Will you be there live when AEW invades the Royal Farms Arena for their last pay-per-view event of the year, Full Gear?
Full Gear is going to be extraordinary.
Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks. Cody versus Jericho for the AEW World Championship.
There's nothing like seeing AEW live.
Don't miss AEW Full Gear at the Royal Farms Arena.
Proud and powerful.
Straight up and real talk.
Being proud is being who you are, embracing who you are.
Proud of where you come from. Proud of the person that you wake up every morning and you look at in the mirror of.
I embrace making a scene because I'm proud to be that individual. And I'm here with a message for you.
Being proud makes you powerful. That's what it's all about. It's never been about race, religion, gender.
Be proud of your sexuality. Be proud to be the individual. Be proud of your culture.
You see us waving our flags. You see us being proud. You see us being loud. And that's just a part of the whole model. This is much more than just a name. It's a way of life.
Be proud to be Boricua. Be proud to be Latino. And I guarantee you, if you do all those things, you certainly will be powerful.
New York, New York, the birthplace of hip-hop, the mighty New York Yankees, and the streets where you walk with your head up and chest out.
New York City is different. It looks different depending on what borough you're in. And that directly influenced us. The pressure of New York weighed heavy on us. But we took that pressure, we turned it into fuel, and we skyrocketed our careers.
What more can I say? It's straight from the gutter, straight from the soil. It's what keeps us and what keeps us proud. And honestly, New York, New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
We don't even have to run. We don't even have to hide. 'Cause we got everything we need right here inside.
3,000 miles west, brothers Matt and Nick Jackson are not only EVPs of All Elite Wrestling.
This is my life now. This is your life now. AEW, this is what we do.
Everyone now depends on us to answer questions instead of just being wrestlers. You know, we're answering everything, you know what I mean? Everyone's got a question and we have to have the answers for it.
But they are simply known as the best tag team in the world today.
In my personal estimation, not just one of the top 5 tag teams today, but one of the top 5 tag teams of all time.
We confidently feel like we have been the best tag team in the world for the last 5 to 10 years. And to be honest, we've been just waiting for someone to take that spot.
For the first time, like, I don't know if I could say with confidence that we're the best anymore. And is that our own doing? Because we helped, you know, put this tag team division together. Like, we scouted a lot of the guys and stuff. So, and for the first time ever, I'm going, man, like, geez.
Nobody that I've come across mixes such innovative offense and high risk more often than not, which is kind of tough to watch at times because it's so dangerous. With just amazing athleticism and timing.
Best tag team in the world, and that might be so. You best believe that that spot is up for the taking. But guess what? We're doing what we always do, coming to get our food. We are hungry, and you have our spot.
In the projects in New York, this is no secret, they had a tough life, and then wrestling kind of gave them an opportunity to succeed.
I was 14 years old at the time, and I remember a shootout occurring while we were out going to the store, and a 14-year-old kid having to throw his sister on the floor and having to guard her. That's not something that, you know, you see or hear every day, but that was my reality. That's what I had to go through. That's what I had to survive.
Santana and Ortiz.
We still don't know, like, what's going on? Well, right now what's going on is it looks like Nick Jackson is going to be another victim. Santana and Ortiz!
They were the hottest free agent tag team in all of professional wrestling.
Santana and Ortiz have just decimated the amazing Young Bucks who went through hell just moments ago.
And for Chris Jericho to get that done behind everybody's back, to surprise everybody and have Santana and Ortiz appear at All Out, it's crazy, and it just goes to show what a great mind Chris Jericho has for professional wrestling.
The Young Bucks have defined tag team wrestling for nearly 2 decades.
Our dad built us our own custom ring in our backyard because we come from humble beginnings and they couldn't afford to put us through college. So that was our college, was him saying, okay, I'm gonna invest in you guys. You guys, you know, you're interested in this thing, so let me at least help you however way I can.
You boys had your pops build you a ring in your backyard. You boys had all these people support y'all. Nah, we did it on our own.
We were backyard wrestlers 20 years ago. It feels like we're living what we did and dreamed of what we were doing back then, and now we're doing it now.
And they are no strangers to the pressure of a pay-per-view event like Full Gear.
For the first time in a very, very long time, maybe we're not at the very, very top of the tag division. And is it worrisome to me? A little bit. Is it humbling? A lot.
The Young Bucks have had some setbacks. That's been clear. They lost to the Lucha Brothers at All Out. They lost to Private Party at the first round of the AEW World Tag Team Championship title tournament. It just so happened that they've been on a bad run. But I think this bad run has kind of rekindled a fire in their bellies. Unfortunately for Santana and Ortiz, I think the Young Bucks are going to make an example of them.
We learned a long time ago, you need to take what's yours, because ain't nobody gonna hand it to you. And we took it. That's why we showed up the way we did. That's why we came to All Elite Wrestling.
They want to beat the crap out of Nick and Matt Jackson.
It's amazing.
And the Young Bucks, you're in our way.
No! God almighty, why did you do that?
Stay the good family men, because you ain't ready for what's about to come.
Where's the doctor? Oh, look at this. That's Ortiz.
Not again.
Piece of the trash. Get that garbage out of here.
Will Santana and Ortiz be able to deliver on arguably the biggest stage of their careers?
To say that dreams and aspirations don't come true is pure bull. We're living proof of that every single day that we wake up.
I think this is going to be a fight, but I think it's a fight that the Young Bucks are going to win.
It's very possible that Santana and Ortiz could, at the end of the day, end up being the better team. I know that won't make Young Bucks fans happy, but you know, there's always somebody down the road that can beat you. Whether Santana and Ortiz prove that at Full Gear, I don't know.
Or will the Young Bucks show the world that they are still the best tag team in professional wrestling?
Nobody has stayed relevant in tag wrestling as long as we have. We're a special tag team, and I guess we're just gonna have to prove it.
Santana, Ortiz, Young Bucks, y'all like to say y'all the best. The best is yet to come, because y'all gonna have to feel it. And I say that with the biggest smile on my face, because I mean it with all of my life. This is real.
For more than 50 years, Las Vegas has been the fight capital of the world. It's home to some of the world's wildest entertainers, including All Elite Wrestling's most unpredictable star, Jon Moxley. When Moxley arrived in AEW earlier this year, he emphatically staked his claim as one of the sport's most dominant stars. A tornado of hype followed him wherever he would go. But just before his biggest moment, when Jon was set to headline the all-out pay-per-view against Kenny Omega, a returning ailment forced him to the sidelines.
Yeah, so I tore my tricep in 2017 and continued wrestling with a giant inflated arm for about 2 months every single night, and was getting it drained about X amount of cc's of fluid out of my elbow every single night just so I could bend it and just get to the ring, and it took its toll, and I never took a break and never let up, and I picked up a staph infection that became MRSA, MRSA.
So MRSA, again, flesh-eating bacteria, if you will,
It got into his bursal sac, so basically that fluid-filled sac, but it could have got into the joint. It actually could have got into his bloodstream. He could have got septic, and I mean, he could have shut down his kidneys. He could have died.
You know, I had so much momentum ever since Double or Nothing. It was just one good thing after another, after another. I was on top of the world, and then it all just came crashing down real fast. And that's how this business is. It's like something from 2 years ago coming back to still bite me in the ass. I couldn't make any sense of it, and it just sucked.
Since that injury, Moxley has been focused on one thing: making sure that opportunity does not slip through his fingers again. And this time, he sought help from some of the best in the world.
Originally, what we wanted to do with John was rebuild him. He had so many days on the road before, he had taken so many injuries and so many bad bumps, we had to rebuild him from the ground up. Joint mobility, stability, endurance training, rebuilding some good muscle on top of his frame. After that, we wanted to make sure that he was durable enough, fast enough, strong enough to be able to do everything that he wanted to do inside the ring. John's got a very aggressive, very violent style. I wanted to make sure that his body can stand up to the rigors of whatever he's doing in the ring. That's it. One more time, stick that landing. Like for a guy his size, I've rolled around with guys about his size, light heavyweights and heavyweights, mixed martial artists. He's got a lot of strength on that frame, man. Even before we started working together, he was a very, very powerful individual.
Japan, a country that couldn't be farther, culturally speaking, from the United States. It's a place where compliance and conformity are among the highest of virtues. But within the controlled silence of the Japanese people is a furious determination and a work ethic that rivals any in the world. Long inspired by that work ethic is All Elite Wrestling star Kenny Omega, who for many years made Japan his home. To this day, he returns for refreshment, for inspiration, and for passion.
I suppose I was always intrigued by the way the fans would react to a wrestling match. It really felt that, you know, they were really paying attention and that every detail, they cared about it. And they hung on to every last emotion. And it all built to a gigantic crescendo in the end. That's where they come unglued. And that's when they start, you know, stomping their feet. And that's when the building starts to rumble and shake. It takes a life of its own. The building itself, the match kind of becomes this growing mass, and the building itself becomes part of this attraction. It just was something that I never understood and I wanted to be a part of, and I wanted to experience it for myself. People wonder, you know, why is it that I can have great singles, great tag matches, great six-man tags? Why am I so good at comedy? It's because of this place.
South Philadelphia has long been a trendsetter in cuisine, culture, and sports. It's a town of strong opinions, where fans are thrilled to debate what they love and what they hate. On the corner of Swanson and Rittner in South Philly, in a building that once served as a bingo hall, an unlikely wrestling revolution was born in the 90s and early 2000s. Some of the sport's hardest competitors were forged here through brutal competition in front of an unforgiving crowd.
Hatred, just hate. John Moxley is the only man standing right now.
Walk around and talk. He's got a new paint job. Looks nice. Yeah, I love this building, man. I miss this building. This building, you sink or swim, you kill or be killed.
Moxley! Oh, stop it! On the man! Oh, good God!
You know, so much of this building, what went on in here, transformations that happened inside me in this building. just defines so much of who I am, what I became, who I still am.
To the floor! Get him off that buckle! No good can come of that!
Oh, man, this feels good. That humidity in the air, that smell, blood, sweat, violence. I remember right about here getting punched in the face so hard and I was already bleeding, that like a cloud of blood just poofed out onto the audience right over here.
Said blow!
Some of the greatest victories in this building is victory over yourself, victory over how far you're willing to push your body, victory over what fears, what concerns you're willing to go up against, what kind of risks you're willing to take. Yeah, at the end of the day, when you stand victorious, it's that's the feeling, man. That's it.
Perhaps one of the only buildings in the world that can boast a wrestling history as rich as the 2300 Arena in South Philadelphia is Tokyo's Sumo Hall. Yearly, Japan's biggest sumo tournaments are held and televised from here. It also plays host to a wide variety of professional wrestling events.
He talks about the ECW arena and the time of CCW. Yeah, okay, somewhat. He fell through some light tubes. I mean, you talk about Korakuen Hall, you talk about Budokan, you talk about Tokyo Dome. It's like, these are the places where, I would look at records that my dad would have, and it would be like Michael Jackson live from Budokan or whatever. There'd be these almost like old wives' tales of arenas that you'd never see. You could select them in a video game, and you'd be able to see them that way or on videotape, but you never thought that you'd step foot in one of these arenas. And I've main evented all of them. I've sold out all of them. And even though I'm nothing like you, John, I'm willing to go to that place. I'm willing to go to that dark place.
It's a bad idea because I don't think Kenny Omega has that place inside of him. He's trying to get there. He's trying real hard to get there, and I hope he does.
You want unsanctioned? They want unsanctioned, huh? I'm unsanctionable.
Don't pretend that you're upset about this being a hardcore match. What else were you gonna do? Were you gonna chain wrestle with me, John? Huh? Give me suplexes? It wasn't gonna happen. Deep down inside, I know that you're happy. I know that you're satisfied.
Now I'm at my best when I am at my worst. And I'm not trying to find an opponent who's gonna bring the best out of me. I'm trying to find an opponent who's gonna bring the worst out of me.
Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley is now an unsanctioned match.
Don't pretend that you're upset about this being a hardcore match. What else were you gonna do? Were you gonna chain wrestle with me, John? Huh?
I know what's going on here. See, AEW wants to treat me like some kind of freak. They want to treat me like some kind of outsider. They want to try and put me in my little box over here so I don't cause any trouble. I know what's going on. I've been dealing with this my whole life. I am the baddest son of a bitch in this game. I am the sickest son of a bitch in this game.
The real person I owe a thank you to is Moxley. My best work has never been because I was handed something. It was always because I had to work for something, because I had to sacrifice something.
Now, I'm at my best when I am at my worst. And I'm not trying to find an opponent who's gonna bring the best out of me. I'm trying to find an opponent who's gonna bring the worst out of me.
Oh my! Oh! Dangerous situation. Oh!
I'm unexceptional, I'm out of control. You think I'm out of control? You ain't seen nothing yet.
I'm glad we're going to that dark place, John. I can't wait to see you there.
As the world witnesses a new era in professional wrestling, there may not be a more pivotal match than the battle for the AEW World Championship title on Saturday, November 9th at Full Gear. For one, it means further proving he is the greatest of all time and is still in the prime of his illustrious career.
I am Chris Jericho, and I am le champion of AEW.
For the other, a symbol of hope for the wrestling world, the weight resting upon Cody's shoulders is immense.
You hear the chants of Cody. He has this connection with the fans that is very rarely seen in pro wrestling.
He has resonated with this crowd, and not just this crowd, but around the world.
With victories over his brother Dustin Rhodes, Shawn Spears, and Sammy Guevara, he's earned his title shot.
Cody, he has pro wrestling in his blood. He is ready to give every single drop of it to these people here tonight.
People have made an emotional investment in Cody, and Jericho's made sure they've made an emotional investment in him.
The reigning AEW World Champion came into the company as their biggest star.
I'm Chris Jericho, and I am all in with All Elite Wrestling!
And he's made it no secret that he's taking the lion's share of the credit for their success.
It's a very exciting time for All Elite Wrestling after selling out Double or Nothing in just 4 minutes. 12,000 tickets sold at the MGM Grand in just 4 minutes. It's unprecedented. And everybody is so excited. Cody and the Bucks are saying, we did it. But is that really the truth, huh? Really, honestly? Or is the more accurate description, I did it? As in Chris Jericho single-handedly sold 12,000 tickets in 4 minutes, because that is the truth.
Jericho's self-confidence is warranted, however. He has quickly found his place at the top in AEW, and he surrounded himself with a stable of allies that threatened the stability of the company.
No matter who thinks they're in charge around here, we're in charge now.
His inner circle has wreaked havoc at nearly every AEW event, and we will find out if this distraction is all part of Jericho's plan, or if it has only served to fuel Cody's determination to become the next AEW World Champion.
Chris Jericho, what does he mean to professional wrestling? That's a stupid question. Chris Jericho is professional wrestling.
He's been around this industry for over 29 years, and he has been at the top of this industry for a very large portion of that.
The very first person to hold 2 world titles, someone that...
He'd be rocking Austin in the same night.
Someone that you could look at and be like, yo, this is the dude that I want as the face of my company. This is the dude that I want to travel the world carrying the company on his back.
Jericho's got a magnificently enhanced ego, and he likes it that way. He feeds his own skill set by his ego.
Chris Jericho is in this for the long haul, and he's here to prove that he's here for the long haul, that he has the physicality, the intensity, the stamina, and the fortitude to be a force in professional wrestling for years to come.
What a shot by Jericho! Let's go! could be it. And it is it. Chris Jericho is the first ever AEW World Champion.
Cody on November 9th at Full Gear when you challenge Le Champion for the AEW Championship. You know what's going to happen to you? I'm going to beat the ever-living out of you.
Quite frankly, nobody in wrestling, in any company, has had more of an influence and made more headlines in the last couple of years than Chris Jericho.
We're his legacy.
Yeah.
Where we're directly inspired by the man. We literally bonded over his first book.
Mirrored our careers over what he did and his path to getting to where he's gotten.
He is AEW. This place is nothing without that man. So him being the AEW World Champion just justifies everything he's always said.
As an executive vice president of AEW, as well as one of the company's top performers, some have questioned his ability to prepare for a match against someone like Chris Jericho.
Cody's in a unique spot right now. He's got this great job helping build AEW. Let's not forget he's a wrestler. He's first a wrestler. My point is, it's not Cody's physical abilities, yay or nay, that concern me. None at all. He's an amazing athlete. Maybe the best pure athlete in the entire AEW roster, in the eyes of many, including mine. But I'm worried about his head.
There's not any part of me that's gonna be in the ring that's an EVP. Every part of me is a kid with a chip on his shoulder who probably wanted to beat this guy 10 years ago and thought he could.
My husband, Cody, is the single most passionate person I've ever met. As soon as Cody told me that he was gonna challenge Jericho for the title, I knew we were just gonna lose him for this period of time.
I know Cody since he was 12 years old. And he was as driven back then as he is right now.
He drove himself athletically, academically, to do the best he could in whatever he was interested in at the time.
He is the face of this company. However, he's not the champion. And I know for a fact that that's something that bothers him because he wants to show to the world that him leaving the other place was not a mistake.
He never saw himself as a mid-card player. He has always seen himself as a top guy. Not only is a top guy, that he can also help carry your promotion. And that's what's happening right now.
He's not just a guy who has a great family legacy and a guy who's an EVP of a major company in pro wrestling. He is a great professional wrestler. He's talented in the ring. And that's why he deserves this title shot, and that's why he's getting it.
It makes it harder when you're somebody's son.
If you just go on athletics and physicality and youth and strength, Cody's your favorite. Father Time doesn't do any favors for anybody. And Jericho is, Father Time is kind of nipping his heels.
Cody's already done so many things that are literally unprecedented in this business. But in the words of the American dream, there's only one thing real in this business, and that's that first World Championship title. Until you get it, there's always something missing, no matter what you've accomplished.
This is literally everything. I can't stress that enough. This means everything to Cody.
Winning that championship belt, it would be the pinnacle of his career.
My advice to Cody is just don't do it. Just give up. It's all said and done. You're not gonna win.
He needs this. This is absolutely everything to him. He won't rest until he beats Chris Jericho.
Team Cody and the Inner Circle are about to square off in the stands here in Pittsburgh. Cody just punched in the glass, and man, it's on now. The fight is on now. Rhodes and Jericho. Rhodes and Jericho, the challenger, the champion. Oh, the Inner Circle. I've just gotten a little taste of revenge. Look at Jericho's face.
When Chris Jericho gets to Baltimore, he has to prepare to wrestle one match. When Cody gets to Baltimore, he's probably already had several meetings leading into the day, probably several meetings that day, while Chris Jericho's thinking about one thing: defending his title and stomping the legacy of the family Rhodes and of Cody specifically.
We are here and we are ready to sign the contract for the AEW World Championship bout between the champion Chris Jericho and the challenger, the American Nightmare, Cody.
Is this thing on?
Hager's oh no! Blow. What do you know? Oh, God almighty, what the hell else?
On Saturday, November 9th, the AEW World Champion will be crowned in what is sure to be a match for the ages. History will be made.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here in Baltimore, Maryland at the Royal Farms Arena for the Full Gear Buy-In. I am Excalibur. I'm joined here by the human suplex machine, Taz.
Oh, yes, man. I'm so fired up to be here, man. We are locked in for the buy-in for sure.
And not only that, by the national treasure himself, Golden Boy.
That's right, baby. I'm so excited to be here in Baltimore, and we have a stacked night for everyone at home. It's going to be great.
Guys, at the top of the hour, you can experience Full Gear on pay-per-view, in-demand, direct TV in the UK and Ireland, ITV box office, and around the world on Fight TV. But before that, we have the buy-in, and we have a match filled with some bad blood.
Our profession, part of being a wrestler is also being professional. My intent, my goal is to win a match. My career is not based around hurting people. It's based around being the best professional wrestler I can be. I think sometimes we run into situations where people maybe aren't as professional, and unfortunately people get hurt at Fight for the Fallen. Unfortunately, I was in the ring with someone who wasn't a professional, and I'll say it. Bea Priestley is not a professional. Her first offensive move in the wrestling ring was driving her boot into the back of my skull as hard as she could. I could not see out of my left eye due to the concussion, so that really got in my head a little bit, and maybe even I'm still kind of recovering from that. And I don't even know if we should go here, so maybe we can cut this if we want. But I got texts and calls from everybody. I mean, from the top. I did not get one text or call from Bea Priestley. And it's an unwritten rule in our business that when you hurt somebody badly, you follow up, make sure they're okay, make sure they're getting better, but not Bea. Some people are professionals and some people are pieces of shit. Bea Priestley, we know what you can do. We know what you're capable of. We've seen what you can do to me. But now, let's give the fans a different picture. I want to show them what I'm capable of doing to you. I want you to know what I'm capable of doing to you. Because at Full Gear, I want you to envision yourself in the middle of the ring with your limbs entrapped. You have nowhere to go. You cannot move, but my hand is pressing so hard down on your mandibular nerve. It is the most excruciating pain you've felt. You're thrashing, flailing around. And I also want you to keep in the back of your head that at any given moment, I can totally dislodge your mandible from your temporomandibular joints. That means I can rip your jaw off your face, Bea. But would I do that? Would I do that? I don't know, we'll see. But now, Bea, you get to experience. You get to go through what it feels like stepping across the ring from someone who is equally reckless as you are. See you at Full Gear, Bea.
This contest is set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit.
Introducing first, from Wellington, New Zealand, Bea Priestley.
Bea Priestley entering the Royal Farms Arena to a chorus of boos. And this is one of the most heated rivalries, not just in the women's division here in All Elite Wrestling, but in the entire promotion. Taz, give us a little bit of background on the locker room code of conduct, so to speak.
Well, there's definitely, you know, you heard Britt talk about that in that video package, and there's definitely a code. There's a code, guys, that, you know, you don't want to try to hurt your opponent. Everybody wants to make money, make a living. It is a violent industry. It's a violent game. But you can't cross that line. And Bea, well, she kind of crossed that line more than once with Britt.
We have to think she's here to make a statement in All Elite Wrestling. What a way to do so if she's able to defeat Britt Baker.
And her opponent, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Dr. Britt Baker, one of the cornerstones of the women's division here in All Elite Wrestling, and it looks like she has come to fight, boy.
All business.
This is not looking good here for Bea Priestley. Britt Baker, she's ready for a fight. And dare I say, this ain't going to be a wrestling match here, Taz. We're in for some violence.
Oh, yeah, and see, this is very smart. You might not like it, but you know, to your point, Golden Boy, you know, Bea Priestley, she understands that Britt wants to bring the intensity, bring the fight, bring the violence. So what does Bea do? Pumps the brakes. That's smart, getting your opponent's head a little bit.
And just before things get underway, look at this. Bea Priestley whipping the jacket at her before this match officially starts. Would like to remind everybody at the top of the hour, Full Gear available on pay-per-view in the United States and Canada, in demand, direct TV, wherever you get your pay-per-views. Also on BR Live. And then in the UK and Ireland on ITV Box Office, Fight TV internationally, and Bea Priestley making a hasty retreat, Taz.
Well, what Bea's doing is it's a total head game right here, and you see going for that head again, where Britt was concussed already by Bea, as we know, and going for that head, it shows Golden Boy that she's not playing games, man.
Right on top of Bea Priestley. She, again, you know, you're right, Taz, she's not playing any games. She clearly just wants to go straight for Bea, and Bea, every single time, Britt gets a little bit of offense in there. Bea, she has her tail between her legs. She's out of there.
And you saw referee Aubrey Edwards very mindful of the closed fist from Britt Baker, trying to keep things legal, but it looks like Britt was out to injure almost.
A little thing with Bea, and you've noticed when she was on the apron, she never took her eyes off of Britt Baker. That's the key. You gotta constantly, it's a cliche thing, but always keep your eye on your opponent.
Again, hammer fist there from Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Bea Priestley, the top gaijin, is in a hard way right now.
I am a little concerned, though, about this, right? Dr. Britt Baker needs to be careful, because if she lets her rage, her anger get the best of her, it's going in. Oh, it did not. Bea actually gets on out of that, goes for the kick of her own, and just trying to get her into a position to get it for a pin here.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
Britt
no.
Ulster, she's looking for the lockjaw.
Going for lockjaw. First getting that rings of Saturn, then get that lockjaw, but Bea blocking it, trying to keep her belly down. That's the key with that. Keep your belly down when someone goes for those rings.
Oh. Another vicious stomp
to the head, guys.
Yeah,
right to the head.
Look, the capacity crowd here in Baltimore, Maryland, letting Bea Priestley hear it.
And you know what? I mean, one of growing up for Bea Priestley, you know, AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho. She was a huge fan of Jericho, and I could see some of that aggressiveness, that violent streak in Bea that we see in the AEW World Champion Chris Jericho.
It's very true, but it's not bear in mind, you know, keep in mind here, folks, right, that this is something that's been festering for such a long time here. Finally, we're getting down to this here. Finally, at Full Gear, we will settle this score that has been brewing since Fight for the Fallen, ever since Britt Baker took that swift kick to the head.
Absolutely, and let's keep in mind, Golden Boy, Excalibur, keep in mind, look at this, across those, just completely across those intercostals, the rib of Britt Baker. Britt Baker, under the weather, she's in a flu, she has the flu, basically. We saw Cody Rhodes tweet about that earlier today, and listen, I've wrestled with a flu, with upper respiratory issues. You can't breathe. The longer this match goes, the tougher it will be for Britt Baker.
Yeah, you start breathing instead of through your nose as you normally do, through your mouth.
Correct.
All of a sudden you get cotton mouth.
Correct.
And then your breathing becomes more and more difficult, and especially when Bea Priestley concentrating on those strikes, those kicks, and those sledgehammer blows across the back of the lungs of the Doctor.
keeps targeting the back of the neck there as well.
Well, if so if you're Britt Baker, you want to try to get out of harm's way here. And she's having a hard time because now the momentum's starting to build. Bea Priestley sees the opening here. And again, working the middle of the back, working the rib cage, pulling apart those little intercostals in your muscles in your ribs. And again, right to the lower back.
Diving back elbow to the spine, hook of the leg, cover, 1, 2. No, Dr. Britt Baker able to kick out.
Good cover there as well from Bea Priestley, right? Covered all her bases, ensured that Britt Baker was not going to be able to go for the ropes. She just needed to kick out, period. Use all that energy.
And the kick out, exactly to your point, Golden, where that kick out, you're exerting more energy, especially when your lower back, your ribs, you're having a problem, you have the flu, you have all these things against you, and someone who's so confident in beating the daylights out of you in Bea Priestley, who's got that Japanese strong style, all of her background training in dojos in Japan, she brings that Japanese strong style.
Bea Priestley used to being the aggressor, but right now, can't do it. She can't even do it. She can't even hoist her up. Oh!
That round kick hit the side of the temple of Britt. Here we go.
1, 2. No. Britt Baker able to kick out, says referee Aubrey Edwards. And Bea Priestley, Taz, is used to being the aggressor, but now she finds herself in a situation where Britt Baker is coming out hot.
Yeah, well, see, the thing now with this body scissors, Excalibur, Golden Boy, this body scissors is, again, targeting the lower back, targeting those ribs. She knows Bea knows that Britt has the flu, right? So that doesn't help.
Almost like she's trying to drive the fight out of her.
Sure.
And then on top of which, she can't even get, a simple body slam in there, right? That was a problem that she was having just now. She went for the move, did not work out the way that she wanted to, and now we're back in the situation where they're going back and forth against one another.
And Britt now able to mount up some offense here, repetitive forearm shivers. Nice shoot right there by Bea. Good duck of the elbow.
Yeah.
Chop.
Double lariat. Both women go down. And then we see Darby Allin, one of the AEW faithful's favorites, watching the action intently at ringside.
Love that kid. Love his style. But right now, both athletes are down here. Britt and Bea both down. Whoever gets to that vertical base first might get the advantage, Golden Boy.
Yeah, and Britt, she's struggling. She's struggling to be able to get up. You see her just playing on that back because she knows it hurts so much. She has to get up there quicker before Bea Priestley gets on her feet. And Bree's going to be up now. Opportunity here for her, but Britt Baker immediately is going to be able to fire back. And maybe this is going to be that fight, that spirit that we see from Britt Baker so much.
Nice lariat-like close on. Just complete.
A shoulder block there, and now a back elbow. Britt really taking the fight to Bea Priestley. Now Priestley, very unsteady, pulling herself up with the assistance of the ropes.
That running high knee hit its mark for Britt Baker. Look at that athleticism right there by Bea. Awesome stuff.
Sling blade there from the doctor.
Momentum shift indeed here. This is looking huge for Britt Baker if she can keep this going.
She is locked in. Look at her eyes, Britt Baker. She is fired up.
That swinging fisherman's neck breaker. Baker covers, hooks the far leg.
Get her right here. She's gonna get her.
No!
We knew, guys, this was gonna be physical. We knew the intensity going into this match with Baker and Priestley, and it's not disappointing at all, man. The physicality is heavy.
But how much does, honestly, either of these women have left in the tank? This match has been going on for a little while here. They've both thrown everything out. And Britt Baker, she feels it in the back there. Bea did the job.
Taz, that's something you have to keep in mind. When you come out so intense, your adrenaline is all built up, and then all of a sudden it just goes away mid-match. You just become sluggish and tired.
You're right, again to the lower back right there, but you're right, to your point, Calvin, you build up that lactic acid in your legs and your body, and your legs feel like they're made of bricks. It's tough to move because your body blows up, and you build up that lactic acid. But right now, Bea trying to go to the top, but Britt trying to shut her down, but
Bea shoves her off, and now Britt Baker looking to return to the top once again, sweeping out the leg of Bea Priestley. Britt Baker laying in a right hand to the collarbone.
There's no quit in Britt Baker. She just brings it all the time, and she's personally offended and ticked.
Avalanche brain buster! And now swings over, goes for the second amigo, but she can't hoist her up.
Couldn't get her up for sure with that vertical suplex, goes to the lower back, missed for that.
Oh!
Got a topper here, Britt.
Cover, hook at the far leg. 1, 2, no. Oh, into the crucifix. 1,
Got her.
2.
Got her.
No.
But that was it for Bea. I thought she was done.
Thought that was it for Britt, honestly.
But that crucifix was beautiful right there. Both ladies, again, just bringing the heavy artillery. And I was saying earlier, it personally insulted is Britt Baker by how unprofessional she felt and she feels that Bea is. But you know what? Now you have your chance. Now you have your chance, Britt, to get not just a victory, but, hey, hurt her back.
Look at this. Bea Priestley dodges the lariat into a German suplex, hangs on, and now she's looking for the combination. Ducks under. Oh, the shoulder capture.
She's got a nice cradle.
Oh, the pin. 1, 2. No, Britt kicks out.
She's got a lot in that bridge right there to Bea.
Yeah, she went for that Akira Maeda style shoulder capture.
But right back on the offensive again is Bea Priestley. Goes to the back yet again. Britt now has to do her absolute best to get out of this, but it is not going to be easy.
No, and you see what Britt's doing smart. Try to get to that bottom rope. It's your best friend right now to break the hold.
Oh, she's just trying to will her way to that rope there, and she manages to break the hold.
That's the key, man. You get your shoulder pulled back the way Baker's shoulder's getting pulled back. Good way to rip apart your rotator cuff, your AC joint. There's a lot of little tendons in there that can cause a lot of problems with a submission like we saw Bea have on Britt.
And Golden Boy, think about this. The more damage that's done to Baker's back and shoulder, the less effective the lockjaw is. And look at Bea Priestley coming off the top. And there you see it on the bottom of the screen. Full Gear at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Available on BR Live, pay-per-view, Fight TV internationally, and ITV box office in the UK and Ireland. Order yours now. There's still time.
Here we go.
2. Man, kick out right at 2. How does Britt Baker manage to be able to keep herself in this fight, Taz?
Got that fortitude, got that intestinal fortitude, as they call it. Let's take a look right here. Watch this. All of the body weight, again, pinpointed to the lower back. I'll tell you what, she might not be popular in the locker room or with other people. I like this Bea Priestley because she's got a killer attitude, man. She's got a killer instinct, and that's what builds a champion.
Oh, look at this.
Electric chair type of situation.
She could be thinking Japanese Ocean Cyclone suplex.
Krause going for the Queen's Landing. Britt Baker needs to get out of this one here.
That's what she was going for.
Oh, ripcord out into the elbow strike across the jaw. Over that choke into the destroyer. Covers the hook. 1, 2. No, Priestley kicks out.
I really think that if Britt Baker with her other, not her arm, with her leg interlocking the other leg, I think if she would have hooked it tighter and stacked Brie onto her neck, she would have got the win. Look at this destroyer right here by Baker on Priestley. Unbelievable.
Right on the money. Unfortunately, it was not enough. But wait a minute, we got to roll up on the side. 1, 2, and a kick out at 2 there. Bea Priestley catching Britt Baker off guard. Kick right to the face there for the doctor. Nailed it.
Britt Baker goes underneath that neck.
Here we go.
Now,
the setup.
For lockjaw.
He's going for lockjaw. Can she get it in there?
Oh, so smart from Bea Priestley. Going for the hair. 1, 2.
And I think Aubrey Edwards' view was obstructed. She didn't see the hair pull.
Right.
Wait a minute. She's going for it again. Lockjaw. Part 2.
Super kick.
She gets that claw on there. That lockjaw. She knows
she's got it.
Every nerve in that girl's mouth. She's tapping.
Britt Baker forces Bea Priestley to tap out and gains
the winner of this match,
very large measure of revenge.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
What a spectacular match, guys, right there by two ladies. No matter if you like Bea or not, she gave her best effort, but Britt Baker able to prevail. Very impressive victory right there for Baker.
Bea Priestley came in with a game plan. She wanted to target the back. She didn't want to allow Britt Baker to get any effective offense in there. And then, when you look at what Britt managed to bring to the table, she just knew the moment she got that lockjaw in, it was a wrap.
Exactly, and like we heard her say in that video package meeting, Baker, she knows every single nerve ending and every nerve in the mouth, being a dentist, guys. And you see the physicality throughout this match by both ladies, Excalibur.
Yeah, Bea Priestley brought the fight, but it turns out that Britt Baker just wanted it that much more. She wanted that revenge on Bea Priestley. She wanted to teach her a lesson, and she did exactly that with the lockjaw.
You know, you hear it all the time, guys. Hey, that match could have went either way. That match could have went either way. You know what? That match could have went either way, but it went Baker's way.
A huge victory there for Britt Baker, and you have to imagine that Riho, even though she has that title match with Emi Sakura coming up tonight, actually both women probably watching this match very closely.
There are 8 million ways to die. She's one.
Whoa!
Whoa! Oh, buddy! Oh, man!
To borrow a phrase from our broadcast partner, business has just picked up. Awesome Kong and Brandy Rhodes. We've seen the video packages over the last couple of weeks. Brandy has gone through some sort of psychological transformation, and seemingly so has Kong.
Yeah, that's just definitely not good for the women's division. These two women aligned the way they are. Like you said, Excalibur, we've seen Brandy kind of going through. It's kind of tough to describe, but
be still in the ring.
She might want to get out.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the best way to go.
Oh, the Hurricane! The spinning back fist from Kong levels Bea Priestley. And now taking the glove off.
Bare knuckles.
What is Goldboy, what does Kong have in her hand?
That's a knife?
Whoa, what the?
I'm stunned. I'm so confused here.
It's really
handing the knife to Brandy Rhodes. Kong with a double
underhooks.
Oh! Flattens Bea Priestley.
The power of Kong. And look at the smile on Brandy's face. She loves it.
There are few in the world that can stand toe-to-toe with Awesome Kong.
And I still don't know what's going on with this knife.
Yeah, I don't like the knife at all. It's
no place.
I think I know what the knife's for.
Oh,
no.
Complete humiliation.
Brandy Rhodes.
Guys. Yeah.
Brandy Rhodes grabbing a big chunk of the hair of Bea Priestley. And now, almost taking a symbolic scalp is Awesome Kong.
It's like claiming your target.
Yeah, it's just that.
And she's actually wrapping it around her waist.
It's like a trophy almost. What?
This turn that we've seen with Brandy, it's like we're saying, it's very difficult to describe. It's dark, it's scary, it's demented. Strange, it's demented, yeah.
The relationship between Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong has never been clear, but I think it's even more confusing than now. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be kicking off Full Gear with a huge tag team matchup.
Wow.
Take a look at this.
8 million ways to die.
We still don't know, like, what's going on?
Santana and Ortiz!
They were the hottest free agent tag team in all of professional wrestling.
They're dirtier than they've ever been. They're nastier than they've ever been. I personally recruited them to AEW.
We learned a long time ago, you need to take what's yours, because ain't nobody gonna hand it to you. And we took it. That's why we showed up the way we did. That's why we came to All Elite Wrestling.
They want to beat the crap out of Nick and Matt Jackson.
And the Young Bucks, you're in our way.
Pro wrestling is all about opportunities and what one makes of those opportunities. Are you prepared to do whatever it takes to accomplish your goal?
For them to come and attack us like that, it got our attention right away.
For the first time in a very, very long time, maybe we're not at the very, very top of the tag division.
Santana! Ortiz! We accept!
The Young Bucks have had some setbacks. That's been clear. They lost to the Lucha Brothers at All Out. They lost to Private Party at the first round of the AEW World Tag Team Championship title tournament. It just so happened that they've been on a bad run. But I think this bad run has kind of rekindled a fire in their bellies. Unfortunately for Santana and Ortiz, I think the Young Bucks are going to make an example of them.
best tag team in the world. And that might be so. You best believe that that spot is up for the taking. But guess what? We're doing what we always do. Coming to get our food. We are hungry and you have our spot.
No! God almighty, why did you do that?
Stay the good family men, because you ain't ready for what's about to come.
Oh, look at this, that's Ortiz!
Not again!
Piece of trash! Get that garbage out of here!
To say that dreams and aspirations don't come true is pure bullshit. We're living proof of that every single day that we wake up.
I think this is going to be a fight, but I think it's a fight that the Young Bucks are going to win.
It's very possible that Santana and Ortiz could, at the end of the day, end up being the better team. I know that won't make Young Bucks fans happy, but you know, there's always somebody down the road that can beat you. Whether Santana and Ortiz prove that at Full Gear, I don't know.
Nobody has stayed relevant in tag wrestling as long as we have. We're a special tag team, and I guess we're just gonna have to prove it.
Santana, Ortiz, Young Bucks, y'all like to say y'all the best. The best is yet to come, because y'all gonna have to feel it. And I say that with the biggest smile on my face, because I mean it with all of my life. This is real.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have just about 3 minutes to order your pay-per-view and to see that matchup kick off Full Gear at the top of the hour. Full Gear is available on DirecTV, In Demand, or traditional pay-per-view providers on BR Live, Fight TV globally, and ITV Box Office in the UK and Ireland. And we have the second member of the broadcast position here for Full Gear, Justin Roberts, with the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the broadcast booth, the Hall of Fame voice of wrestling, Jim Ross.
Sir. Okay, Boomer Hook Sooner himself, Jim Ross, joining me. Always a pleasure, sir.
This is good television.
Yeah, it's great television. I sit down awkwardly. That was real cool.
Watching JR put his headset on under his hat. How do you ever do that?
JR, we have a hell of a program coming up at the top of the hour. Full Gear right here from Baltimore, Maryland. And we have an AEW World Championship title match for the ages.
Yeah, we sure do it with a lot of emotion, and that's what makes championships and big games so important. That's like today, LSU upsetting Alabama in Alabama was a match full of emotion. Made it great to watch. It was just a tremendous thing. And Rhodes, or Cody, and Jericho, I think this thing's been brewing for a long time.
There has been a long festering rivalry. You heard Cody on the countdown say that he's been looking forward to beating Jericho for over 10 years. They've shared locker rooms together for quite a long time. And so this is a matchup that's years in the making. And then we have the lights out match. Yeah. Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, unsanctioned.
That's going to be a dandy. This lights out scenario, I saw the first lights out match in my career in the Mid-South Wrestling. And it was such a violent physical aggression. Folks, the bottom line here is this. This card is loaded from top to bottom. Every championship in AEW will be contested tonight. There's personal issues, there's great tag matches. We may see the tag match of the year tonight.
And we have multiple tag match of the year candidates.
Exactly. So bottom line, it's not too late to join us on pay-per-view. Check your pay-per-view provider.
That's right. Your traditional pay-per-view providers, In Demand, DirecTV, and then also BR Live, Fight TV globally, and ITV Box Office in the UK and Ireland. Full Gear at the top of the hour. And you mentioned the tag team match. The tag team matches, the one that will kick off the show, the Young Bucks versus the proud and powerful Santana and Ortiz.
Could be the tag team match of the year, ladies and gentlemen, to get things started here tonight. We got a packed house. Fans are ready, they're motivated, and so are we. This is a huge night for our team at AEW, and we'd love for you to go along for the ride and join us on pay-per-view right now.